الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ به تعالى من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أرسله الله بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. ما يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعص الله ورسوله فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. مع بعد، معاشر المسلمين، أوصيكم ونفسي أولا بتقوى الله عز وجل. فإن الله تعالى يقول بعد: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة. Now in this khutbah, I want to talk about the problem of loneliness. Loneliness. How do I choose these topics? Well, things happen, news reports come out, and all of these various things, my experiences over the last little while, become culminated in they culminate in the khutbah topic that I'm presenting before you. A sister came to me here in the office and she complained that she lives in an apartment complex with her son, and there are not too many Muslims who live there, and nobody comes to visit them. And she's really crying out for somebody to come and visit them. And we have to ask, where are the Muslims in all of this? People are out there and they are lonely, and we have to have Muslims like yourselves. You went to work, you earned your money, you came home, you're happy with your family. You have to give an hour of your time, an hour a week, 2 hours a week, 3 hours a week, band together with some other Muslims and go visit some of your fellow Muslims who are like this sister, alone, and they want to talk to somebody. There are people who are in the hospitals, our Muslim brothers and sisters in the hospitals, and nobody visits them. I noticed at Princess Margaret Hospital recently that there is a man, he's an old man, Canadian, and he goes around with his guitar. He goes and ping, ping, ping. He plays music for the patients. He comes in, he says, "Sir, can I play some music for you?" The patient says yes. And then he starts, and he does a little dance as well. He wants to entertain the people and make them feel good. Now, that is a Muslim thing that he's doing. Because we know from a hadith that smiling in the face of your brother is a charity. What did you give him by smiling in his face? You make him feel better for a moment. They say smiles are free. Making the person feel better for a moment, that is an act of charity. You've given him something. So this man who goes around, playing his guitar for the patients there, he's dealing with people who are in distress. They're sad. They're lonely. Nobody to talk to. And he goes and entertains them for a couple of minutes, and then he goes on to the next patient. Did you know that in our history there have been Muslim philosophers and physicians who prescribed music as therapy for patients? Because they understood that there is a mind-body connection. So we can cite in this respect Al-Farabi, Al-Razi, and Ibn Sina. They prescribe music as therapy, knowing that if the person feels good mentally, then it is more probable that the person will heal bodily as well. And of course, we know also it works in reverse. That if a person is sad and depressed, then that person can actually develop some illnesses which are related. Now, they're physical illnesses, but they are related to the state of the mind and to depression. One of the things that spurred me to give this khutbah is a news article saying that the British Prime Minister has now appointed a Minister of Loneliness. We hadn't heard about that before. We heard of Minister of Health, Minister of Works, Minister of Defense. Now, Minister of Loneliness. Why did it come to this? Their statistics have shown that there are 200,000 persons in that country who did not talk to a friend, who did not have a conversation with a friend or relative for 1 month. So that's how long a period elapses before these people can have a conversation with a friend or a relative. And it is not only older people who get affected by this, even young people. A British member of parliament, Jo Cox, was murdered in the year 2016. But she had already, before her death, started up a mission to shine a spotlight on this problem of loneliness. Her sister reported that when this member of parliament was in her university days, she was already reporting that she was feeling lonely at university. To combat this problem, because it's noticed also in Canada, a Canadian university has studied this, and they have found that 2/3 of their students have experienced loneliness. This is in the year 2016, this report was done. So people are taking measures to combat this problem of loneliness, and it's a very severe problem. How severe it is? They say that 20% of Canadians have reported feeling lonely most of the time or all of the time. And that number is higher in the US. It's 40%. That means 4 out of every 10 people. It means that if we have 10 lines here, you have to say 4 of the lines are of people who are lonely a lot of the times in the United States of America. And you would wonder, isn't this the land of dreams where everybody wants to go and be happy? And yet, so many people are feeling lonely. And the doctors are saying that actually loneliness can actually kill you. They say it's worse than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So tell me, smoking 15 cigarettes a day, is it bad? Terrible, right? The loneliness is worse than that. It causes cardiovascular disease, dementia, depression, and anxiety. And it increases the likelihood of death by 26, likelihood of early death by 26%. So, what are some of the measures people are taking to combat this problem of loneliness among the university students? At Western University in Canada, they're allowing music students to get free accommodation and meals in exchange for spending 12 hours a week with the seniors. And some of the senior complexes, you don't have to go very far to see that there is a senior complex. You will pass by that complex and you see the seniors there. They have nobody to talk to. They're all seniors sitting around and nobody to talk to. So some of the seniors complexes now are offering low rent to university students so that the students can be there and they have a chance to interact with the elderly folks who are there. So you can see that the whole lifestyle here is heading towards that direction of creating that loneliness. Even the shopping online, which is a new phenomenon. Now you want something, click, 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 and it'll be delivered to your door. I use it too. That's how I buy my books, because I don't have time to go and drive to the bookshop and check out the books and then, get them to my home. So I go click, 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 the book is delivered, I open the package, I start reading. We save time. But what this does is that it hampers the normal interaction with people. If you went to the store, you meet some other people. Hi, how are you? Oh, that's very interesting. You develop a conversation, but online you're chatting sometimes often with people who don't really want to have a conversation. There's a lot of negative things that are going on in the internet. People use that as a kind of a screen. What they wouldn't say to you in person because it'll be rude, and they're saying to each other on the internet. So we don't have that kind of conversation and togetherness that really human beings are made for. Human beings have been defined as social animals. And we'll have to come to the Islamic solution for a moment. But notice that, in a moment, notice that it says in this report that 28% of all households in the year 2016 were single person households. People living alone. And that is a benchmark because for the first time, that became the most, like the largest number of types of household. In other words, if we say, okay, how many is our two-person families, how many are this, how many are that? So the households with one person, this is the top of the list now. So what is creating some of this? One is delayed marriage. In the past, people used to get married early. Nowadays, with whatever, the pressures of life and the comfort of living alone and not needing a spouse, this is actually creating that sort of loneliness. And the difficulties in finding a suitable spouse as well. In the traditional societies, the uncles and aunts started looking, this guy is getting, he starts to have a beard now, soon we'll get married. They start to talk, oh, you have a beard now you have to get married. So eventually they find the matches and the young people are married off. But nowadays there isn't that kind of cohesiveness within the communities, and it's taking longer for people to find suitable matches. We're also finding an increase in the rates of divorce. People are getting married and then they're splitting up. And we're finding that it's happening among the Muslims as well. And that's often because we're not following our religious teachings. Because if we did, we would be together. Our religious teachings actually tell us to stay in jama'ah, to keep together. The Quran tells us in the 3rd chapter, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Hold on to the rope of Allah, all of you together, and do not be divided among yourselves. And Allah tells us, وَكُونُوا مَعَ الصَّادِقِينَ, and be with the righteous people, the truthful people. وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. Be patient by being with those people. Keep yourself patient with those people who are making dua to Allah in the evening and in the morning, seeking the face of Allah Azza wa Jal. So Allah is telling us to be in a jama'ah and be with good people, with truthful people, people who are making dua, people who are praying to Allah Azza wa Jal. And often we already have that as a family, but people become dissatisfied for one reason or another. You should realize that it's not just happening to you, it is a natural phenomenon. Many years ago, Reader's Digest published an article in which they referred to what they call the 7-year itch. After 7 years of marriage, some people start to have like an itch. They want to, like you have an itch, something you need to scratch, something that's called an itch, so you need to scratch it. So some people start getting this feeling, I need something more than what's in this marriage. But don't think that you can just change one little thing and everything will remain the same and you're just changing that one little thing. Everything has consequences. As they say, to every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So life is like a branching tree. If you think of starting at the bottom and you're going up the branches, okay, you went up one branch and you went this way. Don't think that I can just change one thing, I can go on the other branch. Okay, I went up this way, I married this girl. But I just need to change this girl, go to that other girl, and then everything else will remain the same. Like I'll still have this branch. No, you won't have the same branch. One little thing makes all the difference in the world. You marry a different woman, you have a different child, different children, or maybe no children, or maybe deformed children. We don't know what you will have. Don't think that you'll keep everything the same by just changing your spouse. Brother Wali is here. He attended a seminar in which they were saying, change your life. Don't change your wife. Change your life. Yeah, so some people think that in order to change their life, they have to change their wife. And that's not true. Because in fact, just changing that one thing, you could actually upset your whole future from here onwards. And in fact, here is what we're dealing with. Here is your reality up to a certain point. You have to accept that and make improvements without damaging the people and the structures around you. So we need to stay together. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us to do. To stay together as a family and as a community. What are some of the things that will help us to stay together? To be compassionate in the treatment of each other. Surah Al-Hujurat, the 49th chapter of the Quran, tells us, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةً. The believers are only a brotherhood. It's one brotherhood. فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَ أَخَوَيْكُمْ. So you should make peace and reconcile between your brothers. Make peace, reconcile between the people. And further in that chapter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, لَا يَسْخَرْ قَوْمٌ مِّنْ قَوْمٍ. Let not a people, like one group of people, defame the other group. عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُونُوا خَيْرًا مِّنْهُمْ. Because it's possible that the ones you're trying to defame are better than you. وَلَا نِسَاءٌ مِّن نِسَاءٍ عَسَىٰ أَن يَكُنَّ خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُنَّ. And let not a group of women defame some other women, because it is possible that the ones you're defaming are actually better than you. In the same chapter, لَا تَنَابَزُوا بِالْأَلْقَابِ. Do not defame each other with like bad names. بِئْسَ الْإِسْمُ الْفُسُوقُ بَعْدَ الْإِيمَانِ. So after the person has adopted Iman, to call that person by some kind of negative name that will hurt that person, this is very bad according to this ayah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, don't spy on each other. La tajassasu. Don't spy on each other. We have to treat each other with dignity and respect. That's how we form a community. Now we should ask, what's wrong with us when we have a community in which if a brother is sick, he can't tell his family, because his family is going to look down on him. He can't tell the people of his own community, because the people of his own community will look down on him. Don't look down on the brother. Look to him for some dua. You know, the Jamaat Tabligh is one that I respect, because for many years I associated with that movement and I learned many things through that movement. The movement was started by Sheikh Manan Muhammad Ilyas rahimahullah. And he, in fact, he had some ailments. And his family were asking him to make dua for them, thinking that because of his ailments, his du'as will be accepted. So sometimes the person is suffering from something, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving him something else. Allah is answering his du'as. So if somebody is sick, ask him to make dua for you. Maybe Allah will listen to his dua. And it's mentioned in Sahih Muslim that when you visit a sick brother, or it could be a sister, we visit a sick person, you are plucking the fruits of paradise as long as you're in that visit. That means you're getting the rewards which are in your account. And how does this reward translate? This is your Bitcoin for the life hereafter. Because when you go into life hereafter, what will be how are you going to buy these fruits in Jannah? The fruits are going to be, daniya, kutufuha daniya. It is within reach. But can you grab it? You need to pay for that, right? But you pay for it already in this life. When you visit your brother, you're already paying for those fruits which are on the low-hanging branches ready for you to pick in Jannah. A hadith tells us that there are 5 rights of a Muslim upon another. 1, when he salutes you, he gives you salam, you have to respond to his salam. 2, if he is sick, you have to visit him. 3, if he passes away, you need to follow the burial. And 4, if he sneezes and he says Alhamdulillah, you have to say Yarhamukallah, asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy on him. And 5, if he invites you, then you have to accept his invitation. One cannot say, oh, he's not from my community, I'm not accepting his invitation. Or sometimes it goes the other way. He is from my community, so I have no respect for him. Sometimes the people within the same community have no respect for each other. Sometimes there is a kind of competition and jealousy in mind. We both came here from the same country, from the same background. I want to get ahead of you. And if you get ahead of me, I'm jealous of that. I don't like that too much. Why should he get ahead of me? We came from the same place. Why should he get more? This why should he get more? That is the expression of jealousy. It is hasad. And that's what we're making dua against. Min sharri hasidin idha hasad. From the evil of the jealous person when he is jealous. We shouldn't be jealous, we should be compassionate. So, Ya Rab, you have blessed my brother, bless him more. Ya Rab, bless me too. It's no harm asking for blessings for yourself. But it is hasad when you don't want when you don't want the good for the other person. Take it away from him and give it to me. That is jealousy. That's bad. Give him more, and please also give me. That's okay. That's human nature. We all want, right? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not prohibit that which is within the human nature. We can ask, Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar. Our Lord, give us the good in this life and the good in the life hereafter, and save us from the punishment of the fire. That's the dua of the Muslim. What is the dua of the non-Muslim according to what the Quran is presenting? Not necessarily of every non-Muslim, but what is the dua that is wrong? Whether it is made by Muslim or anyone else. When the person says, Atina fid dunya, and he stops there. He doesn't even say hasana. He says, give us in the dunya. Give us in the dunya. So he wants in the dunya, regardless whether it is good or bad. He doesn't specify that he wants the good things. And he forgets about the life hereafter. What does the Muslim pray for? The good things of this life. Not everything of this life, but the good things of this life. And also the good things of the life hereafter. Some things that people pray for are not good. So in our dua of istikhara, we are taught to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, Ya Rabb, if this thing that I want is good for me, for my living in this life and for my life hereafter, bring it to me. And if it is bad for me, take it away from me. See the dua? It is something I desire. I want that thing, but Ya Rabb, you know best. If that is good for me, then give me. Not give me no matter what. It's give me if it is good for me. Because innaka ta'lam You know. Wala a'lam. And I don't know. So give me what you know is good for me. And if this thing is bad for me, for my life here in this world and the life hereafter, take it away from me. Even though I desire it, remove it from me. And bring me the good from wherever it is. And make me happy with that. So I desired something else. But in the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might bring me something else which is good for me. And I'm asking Him to make me happy with that. So I don't desire the bad thing. I desire the one which Allah has now given me. And I'm contented with that. That is the nature of the dua. That is the way of the Muslim. So we desire good for ourselves and also for our brothers. A hadith says, لا تدخلون الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. You will not enter paradise until you believe. ولا تؤمنون حتى تحابوا. And you will not believe until you love each other. Another hadith says, لا يؤمن أحدكم. None of you believes, really, حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. Until he loves for his brother that which he loves for himself. So we have to love for our brother that which we love for ourselves. So there's no room for jealousy here, but only for compassion. If a brother is sick, we have to have compassion. Ya Rab, remove the sickness from my brother. Visit him. Say a nice word to him. Smile in his face. Say La ba's tahurun insha'Allah. This dua of the Prophet. No harm. It is a purification insha'Allah. Pray for his good health. Oh Allah, you are the Lord of humankind. Azhib al-ba's. Ya Rabban nas, azhib al-ba's. Oh Lord of humankind, remove this ailment from my brother. And give him shifa and la yughadiru saqaba. To be make dua for the brother. So our topic is about loneliness. To avoid loneliness, we have to be in community. We have to be one jama'ah. We have to give company to each other. To the extent that in the Quran, the case of the person who embraces Islam and his parents are calling him to worship something else is mentioned. Even in that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَصَاحِبْهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. And give them good company in the life of this world. So a believing child, he has disbelieving parents. He cannot just disrespect them. He can say, Mom and Dad, sorry, I don't have the same belief as you have because I'm compelled to another belief. But at the same time, I want to be a good son. I want to be a good daughter. What can I do for you? Let me keep your company. The old people are being neglected in this country. Have nobody to talk to you. Heard the statistics. And loneliness is leading to undesirable problems. We don't know the full extent of all of these connections, but think about the recent news of the flower pot murders. I used to think that things like this only happen in the movies, but right here in the Toronto area, a man kills people and then he buries their body parts under like flower pots. Despicable. But loneliness may actually be connected to some of these crimes. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Sometimes it's connected to the victim. The victim is lonely. See this guy who went into the mosque in Quebec and shot 6 Muslims to their death and wounded 19 others about a year ago. You think he was well connected with his family? Like they're sitting around laughing, joking and so on all of the time? No. Some of the time he was there on his computer, following like internet posts that aggravate his hate, increase his hate until it comes to that extent. This guy who killed those people, he may have also had his lonely moments when he can think and plan. If he is surrounded by family, he comes in having committed a crime, maybe he has blood on his hands, blood on his clothes. His family will notice. They will do something. That's going to be the last one. It won't go into like a serial murder one after another. It needs a lonely guy to perpetrate these kinds of things. And what about the victims? One of the victims was a homeless person. So, people who are looking for victims, they find the lonely person. A hadith says that the shaitan grabs the person who is alone, just like the wolf grabs the sheep that is away from the flock. And another hadith says, if you put like a group of sticks together, try to break them, hard to break. But take one by itself, snap, it's easy to break. In a similar way, the shaitan comes looking for the person who is alone. Don't be alone. Be with the jama'ah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to curb this problem of loneliness. And one of the ways in which we can curb this problem in a small way is for us together as a jama'ah to form little groups. Come and volunteer your time. Sign up and say, okay, I want to be in a group to go and visit the hospitals. I want to go visit the prisons. I want to go visit the old persons in their residences. I'm not going to tell them about Islam, but they're going to see that these are Muslims who came to me. And that itself will be a positive impression. And in any case, your reward is with Allah Azza wa Jal. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to do what is right. Wa akhir da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ به تعالى من شرور انفسنا وسيئات اعمالنا ما يهده الله فلا مضل له وما يضلل فلا هادي له واشهد ان لا اله الا الله وحده لا شريك له واشهد ان سيدنا محمدا عبد الله ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وصلى الله تعالى على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والملائكة المقربين والخلفاء الراشدين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين اللهم اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ربنا لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا ميتا إلا رحمته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وأقم الصلاة. Volunteers will come through the rows to collect your donations as usual. Please donate as generously as you can for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Please stand up to form your rows and make it tight. I see some brothers trying to get in. Please give them space. Shukran.